One of the most overlooked truths in relationships is that emotional intimacy and physical intimacy are not separate compartments. They are deeply connected, especially in the heart of a woman. For many men, the act of sex can feel like the peak of connection, the final chapter in an evening of closeness. But for her, physical intimacy is often only the doorway. What matters most is not just what happens in that moment, but what follows immediately afterward. This is where many men, even well-intentioned ones, quietly lose their partner's trust without realizing it. A woman might give her body to a man she loves, but if he emotionally retreats once it's over, she may feel used, confused, or even abandoned. She may not say it. She may not even know how to express it. But because emotional intimacy doesn't end when the physical act ends, it either grows deeper or starts to wither, depending on how you handle those quiet, sacred moments afterward. You see, intimacy for her is not about the mechanics. It's about connection. She longs to feel safe, valued, and emotionally held, not just physically touched. And this need doesn't disappear once the passion fades. In fact, it becomes even more important. Those minutes or even hours after sex are incredibly tender for a woman's heart. Her emotions are heightened, her guard is lowered, her soul is open. And what she needs most in that moment is not for you to roll over, grab your phone, or rush into sleep. She needs to know that your care for her goes beyond desire, that you are still emotionally engaged, still present with her, still choosing her heart even after the pleasure has passed. This is the moment when real love speaks loudest, not through grand declarations, but through simple presence. A touch on the back, a whispered word, a quiet moment of eye contact. These little things become the evidence of true connection. And for a woman, these gestures are not small. They are everything. They tell her, I'm not just here for what you can give me. I'm here for you. Now, to be clear, this isn't about theatrics. This is about intentionality. It's about recognizing that sex is not a finish line. It's part of a much larger picture of emotional and spiritual closeness. When a man understands this, he begins to treat the post-intimacy moments with the reverence they deserve. He no longer views them as an afterthought, but as a continuation of the love he expressed with his body, now carried forward through his heart. You may be thinking, but I love her. I just didn't know this mattered so much. And that's okay. Many good men never learned this. But love is shown in what we're willing to learn and how we're willing to grow. If you begin to treat those moments after sex as sacred, if you stay close and present and emotionally attentive, you will begin to see something shift in her. Her trust will deepen, her walls will come down even further, and her love for you will grow in ways you may have never imagined. Because to her, emotional intimacy isn't something that happens outside the bedroom. It is interwoven into every part of your connection. And when you stay emotionally present after sex, you give her something she desperately needs, reassurance that she is more than a moment, more than a body, more than an object of desire. You confirm that she is a soul worth cherishing, that she is, in every way, still seen, still chosen, still wanted, after the fire has settled. So take those moments seriously, hold her a little longer, say something kind, stay awake just a little while more. Because what you do after sex can be the difference between emotional distance and deeper intimacy. It can be the difference between making her feel alone or making her feel safe. Most men never know this. But now you do. Let your love show up in the stillness, and she will feel it long after the lights go out. Certainly. Here's an expanded reflection on the second keynote. Affirmation is more powerful than you realize, in an educational, pastoral style inspired by Dr. Charles Stanleying. There's something every man needs to understand. If he truly desires to love a woman well, her heart listens even when her ears are quiet. And after moments of intimacy, what she is listening for more than anything else is affirmation, genuine, heartfelt reassurance that she is safe, loved, and chosen, not just in the moment of passion, but in the quiet after. You may have given her your body. You may have looked at her with desire, but what she needs most now is to know that your connection wasn't conditional. She needs to feel like more than an experience, more than just a body in your bed. She needs to know that what just happened between you two wasn't just about pleasure. It was about love. And that kind of reassurance doesn't come by accident. It must be spoken. It must be intentional. Affirmation is not about flattery. It's not about saying what she wants to hear. It's about speaking what is true and saying it with sincerity. It's about recognizing her beauty, her tenderness, and her worth, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. A simple, "You are beautiful," after the moment can reach deeper than you realize. A quiet, "I love you," while she's in your arms can calm insecurities she doesn't even know how to express. Many men underestimate this. They assume their presence is enough, that because they stayed because they care, she should know. But women often need more than presence. They need words. Why? Because words have power. Words clarify, words soothe, words build bridges. And in those vulnerable moments, your words are like a covering over her soul. They shield her from doubt, from fear, from the whispering lies that sometimes creep in when love isn't clearly expressed. You might say, "I already told her I love her earlier," or "She knows I care about her." But after intimacy, emotions rise to the surface. Old insecurities may stir up without warning. She may wonder, even for a split second, if you still respect her, still value her, still see her the same way. That's not weakness. It's vulnerability. And that's where your affirmation becomes not just helpful, but essential. This is the part where maturity steps in. It takes a man of character to be emotionally aware, to understand that physical closeness is not the end goal. Love continues after the act. And one of the most powerful ways it continues is through words. Tell her she's beautiful when the makeup is off, when the lights are dim, when she's wrapped in a sheet and wondering if you still desire her. Tell her you're grateful for her trust. Tell her what she means to you, not in a grand speech, but in simple truth. Even a few words, when spoken with sincerity, can make her heart settle. They can tell her she's more than enough. They can reassure her that she is not being compared, not being judged, not being used. And what that creates is safety, emotional safety, the kind of safety that makes a woman feel not only loved, but secure. Affirmation also builds a stronger bond over time. The more you speak life into her, the more she opens up to you, the more she feels seen and known, the more freely she loves. And here's the true thing: when a woman feels safe and affirmed after sex, her emotional intimacy with you grows deeper than anything physical ever could. It's in those moments that trust is built, and trust is the foundation of lasting love. This doesn't require poetry. It doesn't require flowery language. It just requires honesty. "I love being close to you. You matter so much to me. Thank you for trusting me like this." These phrases, when offered genuinely, are not just words. They're anchors. They anchor her heart to yours. They remind her that she's not alone in this connection, that she's not just giving, she's also being held, cherished, and honored. So don't underestimate the power of affirmation. Don't think that silence will be interpreted as peace. She needs to hear from you. She needs to know where your heart stands when the fire settles. And the beautiful truth is, when you affirm her well, you won't just keep her heart, you'll deepen it. She'll trust you more. She'll give herself more freely, because love, when affirmed, becomes something a woman can rest in. And that's when intimacy becomes truly meaningful, when it's wrapped in the security of spoken love. Certainly, here is an expanded and reflective piece on the third keynote. Intentional stillness builds trust. Written in a gentle, educational tone inspired by Dr. Charles Stanley. Without naming him directly, in the modern world, we've been taught to chase movement, to hurry from one moment to the next, to treat stillness as laziness and quiet as something to be filled. But what many men fail to realize, especially in relationships, is that trust isn't built in the noise, it's built in the stillness. And that's especially true in the tender moments that follow intimacy. After sex, there is a sacred opportunity, an unspoken space where her heart waits to see if what just happened was truly love or merely desire. She won't always say it aloud. She might not even be fully aware of it, but there is a part of her that's watching, wondering, listening, not to what you do during intimacy, but to what you do when it's over. And the most powerful thing you can offer her in that moment is not a speech, not a promise, not even a grand gesture, but stillness. Intentional stillness. That means not rushing to check your phone, not turning over to fall asleep without a word, not getting up to walk away from the moment, but choosing instead to remain, to be present, to stay with her, mind, body, and spirit, to hold her not because it's expected, but because you want to breathe together in the silence without trying to fill it, to let her know that she's not just important to you when the passion is high, but that she is worth lingering with even in the quiet. This stillness is not about an activity, it's about presence. It communicates something that no words can fully express. I'm not leaving. I'm not checking out. I'm not just here for the moment. I'm here for you. You see? For many women, the moments after sex are emotionally open and unguarded. Her heart is closer to the surface than at almost any other time. And what she longs for in that space is not for you to fix anything or prove anything, but to stay, to rest with her, to make her feel that the moment was more than just physical, that it meant something, that she means something. Trust is not built on grand occasions. It's formed brick by brick in small choices, in consistent behavior. And one of the most foundational bricks you can lay is your choice to remain still with her after intimacy. That stillness tells her that she is safe, that she doesn't have to perform to keep your attention, that she doesn't have to entertain you to keep you close, that your affection isn't dependent on action, but rooted in love. Stillness also allows her to breathe emotionally. It creates space for her to open up. If she wants to, she may want to talk, she may not. But what matters most is that you're there, unhurried, fully present. It is in that gentle, patient silence that she begins to trust more deeply. Not because of anything dramatic, but because your stillness says, you're worth my time. You're worth my calm. You're worth my full presence. And make no mistake, this kind of stillness requires strength. It's easier to move on. It's easier to go back to routine, to distract yourself, to close off emotionally. But it takes maturity and courage to remain emotionally available in the quiet, to not run from the vulnerability of the moment, to let her rest in your presence and feel secure, not because you're doing something, but because you're being something. A place of safety. This is where intimacy matures. This is where it becomes more than physical, because when a woman knows you will stay close when there's nothing left to do, when there are no more fireworks, no more urgency, only stillness, then she begins to relax into your love. She begins to believe, perhaps for the first time, that she doesn't have to earn your closeness. She begins to trust. And trust, once built, becomes the foundation of everything meaningful in love. So slow down, stay a little longer, be still, not just with your body, but with your heart. Because in that stillness, you are doing something profound. You are saying without a word, I am not going anywhere. And that kind of love, quiet, patient, steady, is the kind that lasts. Certainly. Here is the expanded reflection on the fourth keynote. Love is proven in the quiet moments. Written in a pastoral, educational style inspired by Dr. Charles Stanley, without naming him, love is not always proven in the big, dramatic expressions we often associate with romance. It's not the expensive dinners, the surprise gifts, or even the passionate moments that define its depth. True love, lasting love, is most clearly seen in the quiet moments, the subtle ones, the moments when no one is watching, when the emotions aren't heightened, when there's no script to follow. That's where the truth of your love shows up. And this couldn't be more important than in what happens after sex. For many women, intimacy opens the door to deep emotional vulnerability. She has given you her body, yes, but also her trust, her softness, her inner self. And after that kind of openness, she doesn't want a performance. She doesn't want a show. What she's looking for is the quiet consistency of your care. It's not about what you say you are. It's about who you are when the intensity fades. That's when she learns whether she is truly loved or merely desired. It's in these small, easily overlooked moments that love is either strengthened or silently weakened. A simple hand resting on hers, the quiet willingness to hold her without speaking, the way you respond when she turns toward you afterward. All of that tells her something. And the truth is, what you do when the room is silent often speaks louder than what you say in the heat of passion. You see, love isn't only in what you do for her, but in how you treat her when there's nothing left to gain. Does your tenderness remain when the moment has passed? Does your attention linger, or does it vanish? These are the questions her heart is asking, not out loud, but inwardly. They shape how safe she feels with you. They determine whether she can trust your love, not just during closeness, but in the normal quiet in between spaces. The aftermath of intimacy is not just the end of a moment. It is a continuation of the message your body was speaking. When you're affectionate and gentle during sex, you are communicating connection. But when you immediately withdraw after a rollover or emotionally disappear, that message gets erased. It's as if your affection had a time limit. And even if that's not your intention, that's often how it feels to her. You may not think much of these moments. You may assume that once the act is done, everything resets. But for her, it doesn't reset. Her heart is still listening. Her soul is still open. And what she feels now will stay with her, whether it's comfort or confusion, closeness or loneliness. When a woman feels cherished in the quiet moments, her love for you deepens without effort. She feels safe, and when a woman feels safe, she gives more of herself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But when she feels emotionally abandoned after intimacy, she begins to pull back. Not out of punishment, but out of protection. That slow retreat may not be loud or obvious at first, but over time it adds up. She might become more guarded, less affectionate, less open. Not because she doesn't love you, but because she's unsure if your love lasts beyond the physical. The good news is you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to say all the right things or perform some emotional ritual. What matters most is your consistency, your quiet attentiveness. A soft word, a shared silence, a kiss on the forehead, the way you gently rest your hand on her back while she falls asleep. These are the quiet proofs of love. They are not loud, but they are lasting. This is where real men rise above cultural habits and emotional immaturity. This is where you show her you are different, that you are not just taking, you are giving, not just passionate, you are patient, that you do not clock out when the fire dims. You remain steady, loving, present. Let your love speak in the moments that seem small, because to her, those moments are everything. When you love her well in the quiet, you give her something far more powerful than a feeling. You give her certainty, certainty that she is not alone, certainty that she is still wanted, even when nothing is being said or done. And that certainty builds a bond that no storm can shake. So don't rush the quiet. Don't miss it. That's where love proves itself. That's where hearts are either drawn close or left waiting. And when you choose to love her in the stillness, she will remember it. Not for days, but for a lifetime.